Hello and welcome back to Bloodborne Exsanguination. On today's episode, this is the end, my friends. Our only friend, the end. We, of course...
Gerhman awaits you at the foot of the great tree. Go on, good hunter. Farewell, may you...
Yep, Gerhman is waiting for us, and we've kept him waiting long enough. So, for this fight, we're not going to be doing much throwing of items. We want pulp paper. Our phantasm shell. And our old hunter's bone. Also, I never broke this open, I'm just realizing. Pendant passed down among pictures who head the healing church as a reminder of the cautionary adage. Words that will open the gates of Bergenworth. Whoops. Let's bust that open. Because there's no reason to keep. I mean, you know, pendant jokes assigned. There's no reason to keep this. So let's use it. And we get the gold blood gem. Most radial blood gems have effects that bear upon physical attacks, and this golden radial blood gem, kept for generations within the church, strengthens attacks against those afflicted intensely by beasthood. When clerics begin transforming into unspeakable beasts, the church needed something to retaliate with. So, I mean, as we already know, the healing church is not immune to the beastly scourge. Also, let's just check that everything is repaired. Alright. What's this again? Ah, yes. Which we've done. We defeated the nightmare. Alright. Let's do it. This end boss, or this boss fight is really cool. The arena especially, and the fight itself. It's just fantastic. Look at this. So cool. And here's Gerhman, waiting for us. See if we can get a look at this tree better. It is gigantic. And I don't think we see one like it. Yeah, there's nothing like this at the actual workshop in the real world. But anyway, without further ado, take it away, Gerhman.
Good hunter, you've done well. The night is near its end. Now, I will show you mercy. You will die, forget the dream, and awake under the morning sun. You will be freed from this terrible hunter's dream.
So here, if you submit your life, the game ends immediately. Gerhman lops your head off in the dream, and you awaken in Yharnam to greet the new sunrise after the night of the hunt. Obviously, we are going to refuse because there is more content. But I will say, what was I going to say? I was going to say something about, oh, right. We know that some, like, other hunters have lost their connections with the hunter's dream. We know Jura, the hunter in Old Yharnam, Gatling Gunbro. We know that Eileen, the crow, is no longer connected to the hunter's dream. She has some interesting dialogue. If you attack her and then are killed by her, she'll say, you know, if you still dream, say hello to the doll for me. So yeah, interesting stuff. But we are going to refuse his request because we like it here.
Dear, oh dear, what was it? The hunt, the blood, or the horrible dream? Oh, it doesn't matter. It always comes down to the hunter's helper to clean up after these sorts of messes. Tonight, Gerhman joins the hunt.
Man, I want that weapon. Alright. Let's do it. Let's do it, Gerhman. Damn it. He's very quick. Very quick. But you can get your pokes in. He is counterable. Damn it. A lot of his moves combo together, though, so you get hit by one. Ah. And you can stun him for like a few hits, but there we go. Got a counter off him. That attack where he winds up is usually a good one to try to get the counter off. Ah, too soon. And now he's gone into his non-transform mode, and he's using his blunderbuss. So just keep that in mind. And I've talked all through my empty phantasm shell. Good shot. But really just sort of, as long as he's not comboing. Oh, missed that up. Just like sidestep his attacks and go in for a hit or two. Ow. Now he's powering up. He now is basically under the effects of the old Hunter's Bone, so he'll basically be like zipping around now, I think. Get a few hits when he does this, and then get the hell out. As Mr. Motorcycle drives by. Thank you. And he's got his gun back out. Damn, my shot missed. Alright, but he usually likes to attack after rolling. So if you get the parry off, it's usually a good time. But basically this fight is just about your mastery of the hunter techniques. You just have to basically out-hunter Gerhman with parries and stuff. Wow, really? No, no, no. I'm really surprised he countered me. Seems to be like to shoot me now. Whoa, okay, I thought that was like instant death. Weird, he's kind of like stuck in a parry loop. Oh, that hit. Oh yeah, that shot. The sort of charged shot. Alright.
The night and the dream were long.
Prey slaughtered. Oh shit. I fucked up. Oh. Let's see where it puts me. It's still salvageable. Is this post Gerhman? It's post Gerhman. Alright, let's see if this will work. Oh god, I fucked up. Yeah. That was lucky. Alright, let's try. Let's use our 1/3 of umbilical cord. I'm just gonna use all 4, because why the hell not? Also, that is something you can note, that after the Gerhman fight, you can just sort of quit out and refresh your bullets and everything. Alright, let's see if this will do anything. Alright. Gerhman's not back. Oh, but here we see a great one, perhaps? And she takes us in her embrace. Oh, but what's this? We will not be taken by this great one. And here is the moon presence. Ow. Lots of flailing, lots of tentacles. And as you might expect, like other great ones and kin, she's not very resistant to bolt. Ow. She has that scream which immediately takes away all of your HP and basically like turns it into like the regen HP that you can get back by attacking. Sorry, trying to explain the fight while doing it. And there's a rain of blood, which I believe induces frenzy. And these orbs, which will track you. Oh, they just rain down blood. I thought they tracked you. I suppose not, though. Let's refresh our bolt paper. Really, you just want to get behind this thing. Let it summon its moon orbs, which don't even give frenzy, apparently. Oh, they stop you from healing, though. I forgot. I knew they did something. But if we just mash it out, get our health back the old-fashioned way. Another nightmare slain. And that is the moon presence.
Are you cold? Oh, good hunter.
Yep, that is our new form. Hooray. Yep, we succeeded where Gerhman, where Lawrence, where Willem, where the choir, where Mensis, where everyone failed. We were finally able to ascend into the form of a great one, an infant great one, childhood's beginning, and all that. Let me turn down that music for you. Yeah, so I guess a short rundown of what I believe happens, like the basic rundown of the storyline of what occurs during the events of the game. Let me just turn that down a lot. Alright, sorry. Back up. Yeah. So basically the game starts, you're signing some sort of contract in order to get a transfusion of Yarnum blood, of the blood of, presumably from the Healing Church, some of the sacred blood that they brought up from the catacombs, the tombs, or maybe they got from Ebrites. Although I think that they save Ebrites. Well, I mean, I think she is purely for the choir. I don't think the choir shares her with anyone else, or the upper, like, it's only for the upper echelons of the Healing Church. And you're also inquiring about pale blood. So you get the transfusion. You have this sort of nightmare or this dream where this beast of blood starts forming and comes towards you as if to claim you. But at the last second, the beast is immolated and you're saved by the messengers of the hunter's dream. And a voice calls out that you've found yourself a hunter. Now, as we later learn, that is the voice of the doll. And who she's talking to, I believe she's talking to Gerhman. Because if she was talking to the actual messengers that find you, it would be more grammatically correct to say you found yourselves a hunter. So I think she's talking about Gerhman. Which implies that she has a wide-reaching, or sort of, she's kind of omniscient within the dream. Like, she can tell what Gerhman's doing. She knows what the messengers seem to keep her apprised of things. Yeah, so you're chosen by Gerhman, by the hunter's dream, for their purposes. You wake up, there's a hastily scrawled note that says, seek pale blood to transcend the hunt, and that's really all you have. Like, we're a newly formed hunter from a distant land, recently transfused with Yarnum blood, going to seek pale blood. And I believe that transfusion, the first initial transfusion of blood, sort of, I think that brings you into a ritual. I think everyone who's ever been transfused with the blood is sort of part of this sort of ritual that is Yarnum, basically. The Healing Church has turned Yarnum into its playground. It's, blood administration is just, running wild. And now you're part of it too. The only difference is you have the protection of the messengers and of the hunter's dream. We cannot be killed. The hunter's dream, our connection to it, appears to have some sort of similar effect to the altar of despair. It has, which kind of implies, and obviously the hunter's dream is connected to the Great Ones. So the Great Ones have control over space and time, and so we cannot die because the Great Ones won't let us. They'll just keep rewinding us until we get it right. So we're trying to look for pale blood. And as we know, the only enemies with pale blood are the ones connected to the Great Ones. And interestingly enough, Amygdala does not have pale blood. Ebrites has pale blood. The Brainsuckers have pale blood. Even the doll, I never showed that in game, but the doll has pale blood. So basically, everyone is wrapped up in these sort of rituals and games to try to get to a Great One. And I think the Great Ones are all competing and not necessarily fighting directly within themselves, but competing to try and get their followers to give them a child. Like, that's the whole thing. That's what all the chords reference, is that every Great One loses its child. Because presumably the more powerful you are, the harder it is to reproduce, to create another one, because you're such a higher being, it takes a great amount of effort and energy to do so. So that's what the School of Mensis is trying to do with Mensis and with the Marigo's wet nurse. That's what they're trying to do. And that's what the choir is doing through Ebritas, through the Celestial Emissary. And here the game will loop into New Game Plus. And that's what Erden is doing. And the Moon Presence. I guess the Moon Presence is the most overt. You see that in the Hunter's Dream. The Moon Presence is using the Hunter's Dream to try to find a surrogate child. In the ending where you don't take the umbilical cords, it sort of just seizes you. You're powerless to stop it, and you become the new Gerhman. And here we see it looping again. Now, I don't think they're infusing it with pale blood here. I don't think they have pale blood, like, on hand. Like, that's just sort of your inkling. That's like the one thing you've heard that will guide you through this is pale blood. So you're seeking pale blood, whatever the hell that is. And that's why you go through and ask people. Gilbert tells you a lot about pale blood and to seek the healing church and all blah, blah, blah. And that leads you to Bergenworth and onward and onward. But yeah, so we've got the Nightmare of Mensis. We've got Marigo's wet nurse. And the Brain of Mensis. They're all, we have Ebritas, we have the Moon Presence, and I believe, what I believe is we also see Erden, formless Erden. And we know that through the descriptions of the runes, of the etchings, of the murmurings of the Great Ones that Carol transcribed. We know that Erden is like every other, is a Great One, but is also formless, but is also tied to the blood, and its followers surreptitiously seek the precious blood. So that's literally what we're doing through most of the game. There's the doll again. We are seeking the precious blood. We're seeking pale blood. We don't know exactly why. We don't know exactly what for. We're just seeking it, as we're sort of just told to. Sort of Dark Souls-y there. Kind of Dark Souls 2-ish, like, we're doing it and we don't even know why, blah, 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 whatever. Say what you want about Dark Souls 2. Anyway, I think that the doll is possessed by Erden. Erden doesn't have a form, but what if during the ceremony where Lawrence and presumably Gerhman and maybe some of the other hunters beckoned the moon, as it says in that umbilical cord we get from the hunter's workshop, maybe they called something else. Maybe something else heard them too and saw this doll that I presume Gerhman created for some reason. Perhaps he and Lawrence thought this would take a very long time, which it obviously has, and that he would want some company if he was, if he was the one in the dream and Lawrence was the one outside of the dream. And I think Erden jumped upon this chance when it saw this doll and it possessed it. And because if you go to the hunter's workshop and look at the doll that's in the real world, you can actually see it moving. So it's animate in the real world and in the dream. The reason why I think it keeps a low profile in the real world is because if it was destroyed here, Erden wouldn't have anything to attach to. And one of the main reasons I think it's Erden is because the doll has such incredible control over blood echoes, over sort of the echoes of blood, the history of blood, and she can strengthen us with the blood. She knows, she can sense the ancient echoes in us when we kill Rom. I think the doll is Erden, and I think the doll and Erden are doing the same thing as every other great one. They're trying to look for a surrogate. And the doll is sort of ferrying you along, giving you strength, and hoping that you'll be able to defeat the moon presence. Because I think Erden is just sort of like tagging along in this dream. I think the moon presence was the main thing that they summoned and the thing that bound Gerhman and what Lawrence was working towards figuring out in the real world. I'm not 100% sure on what Lawrence's part in the whole deal was. But we do know that Gerhman, we do know they were probably working towards stopping Mensis. And I think the choir in Mensis, I think, came about after Lawrence died, or maybe shortly before. Yeah, so I think that's sort of the crux of my whole position is I think the doll is Erden. And I think the doll is using the blood and the blood echoes, the domain of Erden, to find a hunter that will finally be strong enough, with her help, to take on the mantle of a great one and become her child. She doesn't want just a regular human to be her surrogate child. She wants an actual great one child, which we can do with enough power and strength and foresight to find the umbilical cords and become strong enough to not be taken by the moon presence. So that was like our final test and what proved that we were strong enough to Erden. And also perhaps, you need the strength of a defeated great one in order to ascend. So yeah, that's super rambly. I'll turn back on the volume now. There we go. And we can finally get the final piece of my build. Oh, I'm looking forward. Let's just wreck this guy real quick. Give me them blood vials. Alright, I don't need that anymore. So that's what I think. I mean, there has to be a reason why the doll has such control over blood. And yeah, the Erden Writhe rune. Where is it? That's the big one. Human or no? The boozing. Where's both Erden and it's. Wait, where is it? Is it formless? Wait. The great ones that inhabit the nightmare are sympathetic in spirit and often answer when called upon. The doll seems pretty sympathetic, doesn't she? Anyway, I could be completely wrong. That's just what I'm going with. That's just sort of... Let's see. Both Erden and it's inadvertent. Like, inadvertent means... like, you're not completely aware of who you're worshipping when you, seek the blood and its power. Surreptitiously seek the... yeah, so... I thought there was... I suppose it's one of the umbilical cords. that mentions that Erden is like every other great one, searching for a child. So that's just what I think. I think we're really serving Erden in its sort of long-term scheme. It definitely appears like it's the most thoughtful of the great ones. Like, it's not sort of ruling by force, she's ruling by guile. And she's obviously very patient. I mean, you know, who knows how many hunters have come and gone since Gerhman, since the dream was created. Also, just an interesting tidbit that I sort of thought about. I think I know, like, it's interesting when we first come here, we learn that it's the night of the hunt. And like how do they decide when the night of the hunt is? And like, how did we know to come here on this day? Like, was that our whole purpose, was to come here during the night of the hunt and seek the pale blood? I think the night of the hunt takes place on the perigee of the moon, and the perigee, there in orbits, there's a perigee and an apogee. Basically, the apogee is when the celestial body is furthest away from what it's orbiting, and the perigee is when it is closest to what it's orbiting. And that is the night of the hunt, when the moon is closest. And we know that when the blood moon is full and highest in the sky, you know, beasthood runs rampant. Certain rituals become possible. Yeah, so it's tied to the cycles of the moon, all of that. So yeah, just an interesting tidbit that I sort of thought about. I knew there has to be some way of determining when the night of the hunt is going to be before the actual night. I mean, like, all of these plans and rituals and stuff probably don't just happen like the night of, you know. And something like the perigee of the moon is, you know, very easy to determine, even by archaic standards of astrology. So yeah, let's go. Let's just stop. Just shut up, me. Just go back to the Understream. I should probably really formulate what I'm gonna say and maybe make a what I think video after I've done all of the, because there's still more to see in the later Chalice dungeons. Also, a cool thing I saw online was that if you don't die or visit the Hunter's Dream before like the end of the game, before you've slain Mergo's wet nurse, this cutscene will have the workshop on fire. Just really cool looking. And there's the doll. And even when she's not animate, you can still... thought you could still level up. But anyway, let's buy some stuff. So, oh yeah, we can also read the description of the old hunter badge. This hunter's badge, crafted in Gerhman's time, has no practical purpose, except perhaps to assist in romanticizing about the past. The badge was a special privilege for the hunters of the past and should not be dishonored. It should be left in peace, unless one is truly prepared to assume the will of those gone before. Interesting. So it's sort of saying, you know, take Gerhman's advice and take the easy way out, unless you're prepared for what's going to happen next. Which is either taking his place. There she is, the burial blade. Trick weapon wielded by Gerhman, the first hunter, a masterpiece that defined the entire array of weapons crafted at the workshop. Its blade is forged with siderite, said to have fallen from the heavens. Another connection to the sort of, you know, the heavens and the cosmos are one. Gerhman surely saw the hunt as a dirge of farewell, wishing only that his prey might rest in peace, never again to awaken to another harrowing nightmare. I think that is it. Let's get it. Oh wait, he also has his armor, I believe. Be cool to get his gun too, but Gerhman's cap, created before the workshop existed by making adjustments to everyday clothing and later became the basis for all hunter's garb. The hunter's emphasis on engaging beasts with speed and therefore selecting lightweight attire no doubt traces back to Gerhman's own combat style. So Gerhman truly was the first hunter. Emphasis. Yeah, same thing. Could also buy some of this stuff. Man, it's so expensive. Let's get the gold hat. And the Canehurst set, why not? So let's see, here's Gerhman's stuff. Oh right, he doesn't have gloves. Looking snazzy. And this weapon, oh, this one's so cool. Definitely the best looking weapon out of all the trick weapons, I think. It's got a sword moveset. So this will be our long-range weapon from now on, instead of the rifle spear. Alright, and we can get another free weapon. Let's get the hunter, well... Saw cleavers. Well, we already have the saw spear. Whatever, we'll get the free hunter's axe. And the free blunderbuss. Just filling out our stock. Alright, yeah. I can do all the leveling up of the weapons and all that stuff and preparing for the other chalice dungeons. You'll notice also that your chalice progress is saved. So we still have all of the chalices that we got, and they're even still open. So we could revisit any one we wanted to. Alright. But I think that will do it, guys. That was the sort of penultimate ending to Bloodborne. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you'll come back for the rest of the chalice dungeons and maybe some more lore talk. Alright, guys. I'll see you next time. Deep respect. Let's bow out for Gerhman. Later, y'all.